welcome to the very first episode of the Video Editing Elite podcast. So, this is the very first episode, and today's topic is going to be all about workflow. So, what is the perfect workflow? How to actually, edit a video from start to finish the best way possible, the fastest and the most efficient way possible, but also not just to save time, but also to have, I think, the best quality as well within your edits. So, because it's one thing that I heard from my mentor, which is you're only as good as the process you can fall back into. And yeah, I chose this topic for this very first episode because first, I think this is one of the most essential things that most people get wrong. So I chose this topic for the very first episode because I thought this is one of the most things that you can actually, do today, change today, and with the next project, and see like a 10x increase, not only in your quality, but efficiency. So I want to give you some quick wins basically with, and not only the value that I share in this podcast, but also give you some quick wins that you can, take from this free podcast, this free content, and apply it to your workflow, apply it to your day-to-day life, your career. And so yeah, this is also the goal with this podcast, because when I think back when I started editing in last year, 2023, January, this is where I edited my first video basically with Premiere Pro for a client. And I moved back into my hometown in a small village in Hungary. So that was pretty, I would say not depressing, but it was definitely something else, because before that I used to live in Germany for 10 years. And I lived in a big city before, and I had my friends there. I had basically lived most of my life in a big city like that. And I just, moved back to a small hometown where I had zero friends. I had also no job opportunities as well. And I had also basically zero income. I remember really, really clearly how I started my year. So my year started me having minus $200 in my bank account because I bought some course that I didn't even, watch about content. And I bought that course, and I accidentally just, also bought the upsell package, and they already had my credit card details. So I just clicked this button, and then it just like minus $200 gone. And I got my money back, but after like just a week or something. And that was funny because I started a new year, like 2023, with minus $200. But the best thing was I started New Year as well with me being in monk mode. So most of you guys probably heard of monk mode. And within just a quick time, I had like all my struggles. I didn't even know like how to talk to clients, how to contact clients and all that stuff. So I figured it out on the hard way, I would say. I had some books that I read before about communication, but basically I figured all out in a hard way. So then once I got my first client, I did a free video edit for him. Then I got $80 for a whole video, and then I charged him $1,000 for a monthly base. And so that was even not the best well communicated because it was just for 1 month, but it was my first $1,000 per month. I think after like 2 months of me being at home. So up until that point, I was working out every single day, pretty much. I was also like meditating every single day, reading every single day. There was the most transformational season in my life that kickstarted my career. But I think that's basically that. And after a couple of months, I reached my $5,000 per month. That was really a big, I would say a big goal of mine, just to reach that $5,000 per month mark. And just after like 6 months and just a couple clients, that was all it took to get that. And it was not only editing videos, but also thumbnail design. So that was also a big income stream. And this is my story. And now fast forward, I am working with finance channels, currently working at a channel that has a big vision for education, online education, kind of like the same that we do here with content, but I would say more on a professional level. So we're trying to change the online education space, and I love that work. I'm currently editing the videos and the course lessons for that channel, and I love that work. So yeah, after just getting a couple millions of views on videos, I can also share some of my expertise and some of my knowledge that I built up in that year, in the past couple months. So that is very, very valuable. And yeah, before we dive into today's topic as well, the reason that I'm recording this podcast is kind of like for my younger self. For when I started out, I wish I had all these videos, all these resources. And this is why I'm recording this podcast, and also why I'm decided to share all my knowledge that I have. Because if I did not join a 1 million plus subscriber channel and I had a mentor there that teach me all these things, if I didn't have that, then I would not be sitting here and just talking to you and give you the free value so you can improve your editing, you can improve your workflow, and we'll have a lot of more topics coming on this podcast. So this is basically the reason why I'm creating this podcast. And with the launch of this episode, I'm also opening up a brand new exclusive community as well for people who want to, I would say, be successful, be in the top 10 and the top 1% of video editors. And this is one thing that I will teach you in that exclusive community. Besides the free content that you see on YouTube and in my Discord community, you will actually get access today when this podcast launches, when this episode launches. And you can get in today. I'm not sure for how long, but today, if you are fast, you can get in at a very low price. And the community is called the Video Editing Elite. This is why I'm also calling this podcast the Video Editing Elite Podcast, because I just want you guys to become the elite of video editors. And with all the knowledge I have, it is so easy and so much more faster than I have achieved it to become an elite video editor who is, paid well, who is also the best at editing his videos. He's like in the top % of editing videos. And this is what you also get in my community. You will get a success mindset module first, which is basically all about your beliefs and also your goals. So if you have like all your goals laid out and the action steps, I'm going to help you to basically just be faster and achieving your goals. We're going to remove all those limiting beliefs. We're going to have, it's not even a joke. You have all the things that you need to succeed in front of you. And in the Video Editing Elite, we will help you basically to be faster. Because I think mindset is kind of like a backpack. So when you have a backpack full of rocks, then it's harder to walk or even to run. And we want to teach you how to run, and we'll give you all the tools, all the templates, all the resources, all the editing stuff. You will get all the editing knowledge, the editing tips and tricks. You will get full tutorials on how to edit like the big channels. But if you have all the rocks, which are the limiting beliefs or the things that hold you back in your mind, then you will not be as fast as you can, or you cannot even run if you want to. So we're going to remove that. So basically that is the first step from the 4-step that we have in the Video Editing Elite, because this is a 4-step framework that you have to follow. First one, as I said, is the success mindset module. The second one is the client attraction blueprint. So we're going to teach you how you can attract clients the most easiest way and the most efficient way, and also the most, I would say, bulletproof way. So this is going to be a full blueprint. You will have all your questions answered, like how should I talk to a client? How should I negotiate the price? What should I price myself at? And we're going to teach you all that stuff in that very module. And after that, we're going to have a fulfillment blueprint. So this is how you can fulfill your work the best way possible, how you can actually just, have clients, coming back to you. So the goal with the fulfillment blueprint module is that clients just want to come back to you and work with you and pay you even more after you have all these smooth processes set up. And then after the fulfillment blueprint, we'll have the Editing Advantage Masterclass. So this is basically a full masterclass about how to edit videos. So when you join the Video Editing Elite today, you will get basically all the access to that stuff that I just told you about. And then you will also get basically me breaking down my videos on how I edit my videos, where I think, how I place my B-roll, what B-roll I choose, or what music I choose, my sound effects, my most viewed videos as well. I'm gonna break all that down, my timeline. And I think it's kind of like, if you want to learn how to cook like Gordon Ramsay, you can just go to blogs and just see on like in his TV shows and how he cooks. But the best way possible is when he's teaching you one-to-one, or when he's teaching you through a course. So this is why essentially I believe the best way to learn editing is when you watch other editors who are succeeding with editing on a higher level, on a top 1 or top 5% level or top 10% level, and how they do it. So this is essentially why the module is here, where I teach you basically how to edit like these big YouTubers, and also how I edit my videos, how I animate my whole timeline in Premiere Pro, After Effects, sound effects, all the websites that I use, every tool that I use, plugins. You will get templates, resources, and besides all the 4-step framework, you will get a Photoshop and thumbnail course. So I will break down basically how I did my thumbnails, like on my YouTube channel that you can find already. But I would say in a more deeper level, I will teach you how to use Photoshop the best way possible for thumbnails and essentially just for everything. And then what we're gonna have is also some templates for thumbnails. So when you join, only the resources and templates will already cover what you've paid for. And just bear with me, there is even more you will get. And then you get also live coaching. So we're gonna hop on a live call with the group, and then we're gonna basically have Q&A calls. We'll have also presentations. So if there is a new tactic, if there is something that I want to teach you guys about that can elevate your success as an editor, you will learn that on the live calls. We're gonna have presentations. They're going to be recorded and uploaded to the calls module in the community. And you will also have one-on-one access to me. So there's a tab on the community which is called questions. So if you have any questions, I'll be probably one of the first people to answer your question in the community tab. And then you will also get editing feedback on your edits. So if you post your edits into the community, a link to it, I'll give a full in-depth feedback to your edits, because this is the best way on how you can learn editing, is to get feedback from someone who already did that, who knows how to edit better. And yeah, this is like priceless. Like, I kid you not, if you want to fast track on how you edit, like I already mentioned it in a couple of videos, that people came into the Discord, they posted their edits, and I gave them a 1-hour feedback just a couple seconds. Like, it was like a 30-second video that he re-edited for a client, and he got a 1-hour full feedback, me taking a voiceover and just talking to him and just saying like, hey, this is how you should do it. Oh, this is looking good. Let's change this. Let's change that. This is what it lacks. This is what you should do better. And this is all you get in the Video Editing Elite community. And, I'm not even talking about the resources. The resources already, will cover it. And you might ask, like, how many thousands of dollars is this going to cost me? Well, I don't want to make that not accessible to everyone. I know the target audience for this is people who want to make their first 1K, their first 2K, and their first 5K per month. So if you want to fast track that, I'm pretty sure you can achieve that in the first 60 days after joining. And it will only cost you $49 for the first couple people. So I want to make this very accessible for the first people who invest into this course, because I set myself a goal for the next year to help 100 video editors succeed in editing videos. So we're going to hop on calls. As I said, I will keep you accountable with your goals. And if you have any more questions, we can always hop on a one-to-one call. And this is what you get in the Video Editing Elite. So why am I very confident that you can achieve that? Because this is like not just, I did not make these numbers up. So I did my very first 5K per month in just 6 months after, starting from zero, from starting with not even having worked with Premiere Pro before. And I also have a student of mine who started like at 400 per month. And then what he did is we hopped on a call, and after like 1 to 2 months, or like now like 3 or 4 months, very rough start. And now he's making 2K per month with clients reaching out to him all the time. So he has not even like the bandwidth to take care of all the clients on himself, like on his own. So yeah, this is basically the power of my framework that I teach inside the Video Editing Elite, that I tested, that I know it works. And I also have one student of mine who just recently moved into his new apartment, and now he's like doubled his income or whatever that he made before. We doubled it after he hopped on a call with me and had some one-on-one coaching. So yeah, this is no joke. I'm not trying to sell you something that I do not stand behind. So yeah, this program works, and I stand behind it with my name, because if the program is like bad, I just wouldn't market it. This program is literally just the best thing you could invest into right now today if you want to make your first 1 or 2 or 5K per month. But yeah, I just want to mention this community because I really want to help 100 editors to achieve success in editing videos, and I know how you can achieve it no matter where you are in your journey. Like basically, we're gonna fix your mindset. We're gonna show you how to get clients. We're gonna show you how to fulfill to your clients, and then we're gonna also show you how to be the best editor, like how to do it the best way, how to animate, how to make your videos look good, how you can become a top 1% editor. So this is all we teach in that community. So it is so underpriced for what it is actually worth. It's like worth thousands of dollars, if not $5,000. This is what I calculated that these programs all combined into one would cost. Basically, join a community if you want to succeed with editing videos. And if you're not sure about that, that's okay. I only want actually people in that community who want to be successful with editing videos, who are ready to invest in themselves. If you're not ready to invest in yourself, that's totally fine. I'm not mad. I hope you can find as much value as possible in this free podcast, in this free content. And yeah, other than that, join the community and let's get into today's topic. By the way, you see the beautiful background here. I'm in Romania. I'm at my family's house, by the way. So I'm super blessed. Shout out to them letting me record here in the kitchen. And I love this country. It's my favorite country here. And I chose this setting to make this look as high quality as possible for you guys, for you watching it. And today, I'm going to talk about my whole workflow, my whole process on how I edit videos from start to finish. From the very first start, from how to communicate with client, like how I talk to my clients, how I talk to them or the team. And this is basically all the sauce for free. Very first to mention, I have an SOP here on my laptop, and an SOP stands for Standard Operating Procedure. This is a whole page where you have a step-by-step process lined up on what to do when you want to edit a video. So downloading the footage, duplicating the file, line up all the clips in the timeline, cut out the silences, and these are like all the points that we do and that I need to do when I edit a video. And then there's also some sub points to that very point. Basically, for the first one, downloading the footage. So start by downloading the footage from Google Drive. You will need to download the ACAM, BCAM, voice files, screen recordings. And then once you've downloaded the footage, mark the status in Notion as editing. So this is basically just one point, okay? And the reason I do this and write this out the most detailed way possible is we want to create a process that is literally just foolproof. You can teach it to anyone and they can just take it and then do it. So if you have a new editor on your team, or if you have just basically some issues or something, then you can just always fall back to this standard operating procedure. And this standard operating procedure, which is called SOP from now on, is essential for teams, but it's also super helpful for editors who are starting out, because then I can just teach it to you, and then you can just also download this in the Video Editing Elite community as well. You have like the whole access to this very file, and you can just adjust it to your needs. But yeah, so this is super important, because when you have a set workflow for every single edit that you do, then it's just so easy to think about the edit, the creative side on the editing, like the animations, the music, the pacing. It's so easy to focus on that when you know you have a whole SOP behind you that you can just, fall back on. So when you have to worry about all the workflow, when you have to worry about what to do next, or should I just add music first and then continue the animation, it's like building a house with sand. It's not stable. You cannot just focus on, placing the windows in that house. It's just the house is going to fall together when it's starting to rain. So you always want to have a bulletproof workflow, and it will just help you to focus on what is really mattering, like the edit itself. Let's face it, the clients don't care about how long you spend on the video. It's all about how much you want to spend on the video. Like, if you can get the video done faster, that means that your clients can get more satisfied by your speed of workflow. And you can only get that done if you can actually focus on the edits like with 100% efficiency or 100% productivity. Then you can edit faster. So let's break down all the points here now. And I'm going to tell you as much detail as possible to all these points. And also, before the first point, how do I communicate with clients? So yeah, I always use Slack for communicating. I also use Wise for collecting payments. So you can just send an invoice through Slack to collect payments as well. You don't even need a free invoice generator website. So it's very, very easy. They can pay with like QR code on the Wise invoice as well. It's super easy, super, super effective as well. I have a Wise card, like a debit card as well, a business card. It's really, really, really good. These are the tools that I recommend to you to use. You can also use Stripe, but I have never used it, so I cannot tell you how good it actually is. I also had a channel that I work with. They had the files uploaded in Frame, frame.io, because when you upload it in Frame, you can download the proxy file. So we had also the proxy downloading, like what should you download, like super clear, detailed, written down in the SOP. But now we're using Google Drive. So I have start by downloading footage from Google Drive. And then sometimes we have multiple angles. So we have A cam, B cam, we have a voice file, we can have a screen recording, and we just want to have all that stuff in the Google Drive, basically like downloaded into our template. Speaking of template, we're gonna come back to that in a second. But first, what we will have is Notion. So when we use Notion, we're gonna have status of the video in Notion change from recording or whatever it is, from scripting, recording, from where it was to editing. So basically we can track it, like what videos are being edited, what are we working on, what are videos that we posted, or what do we need to script. All these things in the Notion are basically just tracked. And you want to make sure that when they use a Notion, that they are always super clearly set to the right status. They just want to be like clean, and you don't want to have like all over the place. So you don't want to have any, I would say, confusion within the organization of the projects. So you want to be always super organized. This is why I also have a storage template, like where I store my files, where I edit from, where I place all my files that I need for editing videos, for animation. I have all these things in that template folder. So in my SOP, essentially, I have that also written in duplicate file storage template, because I have a whole folder of a template and I just duplicate that, and then I rename the folder. Then I change the name of the Premiere Pro file, which is also in the folder. I also change the After Effects file's name, which is in the folder as well, if I want to use that. Because if you have a template full of stuff that you already using for that channel that you're working with, then you have already less things basically to edit. So you have already, like, for example, the background, the font, or all that stuff, the animations that you are all like reusing most of the time. You have all that stuff basically already done, so you can just be faster. But that's probably a topic for another video. First, I'm just gonna break down my template folder. So my template folder has a footage folder where I drop the footage in once I have downloaded them from Google Drive. And in that folder, only footage comes in. So if you have, let's say, an AI that you you take the audio, you set it to an AI to make the voice more clear, more pop. Then you also drag and drop that into the footage folder. And then you take that footage folder and you drag and drop that into the Premiere Pro. Like also in Premiere Pro, I have a set template for that set up where I have my other folders with sound effects, with production assets that we need for the channel that I use in Premiere Pro, which is currently not 100%, I would say, optimized, but it will be optimized moving further when we're editing more videos for the channel. So right now we are like finding out our style for the channel. So it is kind of like a mishmash with the styling as well. We're gonna have maybe different assets that we use. So it is currently not perfectionized, but you will also get my template folder in the Video Editing Elite community as well. I make sure to upload that into a whole, like just have all that stuff that you guys need in a whole page for himself. So if you join the community, you will have access to that instantly. And then after the footage folder, I have a graphics folder. This is a folder where I place my music in that I use for the editing. And it's also a folder, which is super important, where I have all the things that I download for the video placed into that folder. So if I have, for example, an animation I want to do and I need some icons for that, then I have all the icons downloaded and I pull that from the downloads folder into the graphics folder, which I have also into a shortcut. I have it accessible on the side on my folder structure, so I can always just drag and drop that into that folder, because that makes sure when I take that folder and I basically place that on my backup drive, then it is just so much easier to find all these files rather than just them having like laying all around in separate folders. It's super easy to change stuff afterwards or just go back to it afterwards and just find all the files that you have used in that project if you were to back it up on a different hard drive, which is what I do. But that's also a different topic for another day. Yeah, so this folder is essential. This is the folder that I use most of the time. And besides that, I have also the production folder. So the production folder has all the effects that I would place on a video in Premiere Pro. So I have all the assets in a different folder for After Effects, because I don't want to have too much stuff in that folder, because if the folder is like 20 gigabytes all the time, that means you're just copy and pasting 20 gigabytes, 20 gigabytes, 20 gigabytes on your laptop. So you have all these heavy files that you just carry around with. So this production folder is kind of like maybe you need it, maybe you don't. It depends if you have more clients, and it's good to have like production folders for all the clients, and that's just easier to work that with. It's easier to organize, but I would say don't have too much stuff in there. I have, for example, multiple sound effects folders. I have one in the template, which is kind of like the most essential things. It's still from the template original that I downloaded this template from, which is I think a year ago. So it wasn't really updated too much, but yeah, I added some new sound effects to it as well. By the way, you get access to these sound effects as well within the template folder that you can download in the Video Editing Elite community. But you can basically just remove the production and the sound effects folder and just have like not copy and pasted them all the time, but rather just have all the essential assets in one folder, and then just basically always link back to that folder if you need those files. So I have also Editing Essentials folder, which is like all the LUTs, all the gradient backgrounds that I created, all the transitions, the sound effects, the textures, all that stuff, or stuff for animations. I have all that stuff in the folder, and I have that folder on my SSD as well, and I have also it on my laptop as well. But maybe it will be also smart to upload that into a cloud. So when you don't have space, you can just delete it from your PC and just have it in the cloud. And if you don't have your SSD on you and you're editing, I had that issue once, so I'm just talking from experience. It's always good to have it on the main PC. If there's too much stuff on there, it's good to have it on SSD, like just cleaning it out, or a backup drive. But then if you need to access it and you're actively working on it, you have to carry around the SSD or your backup drive with you. So it is sometimes you forget it if you're just outside a lot or often, and then you just can't work on that, or you have offline media, or you cannot, work on the files. So it's always maybe good to have them in the cloud as well, just to access them as easy as possible, like Google Drive or something. Besides the production and the sound effects folder, I have a work files folder, which has all the autosave folders that Premiere and After Effects creates. And it has also a Premiere profile, and it has also an After Effects file. So this is essential because if I want to basically have an After Effects file with all the stuff that I need for the animations to make, like for example, there's a channel I work with, and the channel has like always the same backgrounds because we want to stay super branded. And then you can just have all these set up as a template in the After Effects file. And for every single video, all these templates is going to be with you. So you don't have too much in your After Effects file, but you can also always have the files with you on the After Effects project. So like we have already everything set up. This is what I'm trying to say. This is the bottom line. You have everything set up so you can just copy and paste sometimes. This is so easy, but it takes, of course, a little bit of time to set up, especially if you have multiple clients. This is super, super good. And yeah, so I changed the names of the Premiere profile and the After Effects file. I changed the names and then I opened them up. And then once the files are downloaded, what we're going to do is basically just drag the files into the footage folder and then drag the footage folder into Premiere Pro. This is super, super, super organized. This is super straightforward. It's easy to understand. It's like a no-brainer, I think. Yeah, once we have those files in Premiere Pro, what we need to do is line them up. So we need to synchronize them, and we have everything breaking down in the SOP on how to do that. So we'll line up A cam, B cam, screen recordings, the microphone audio tracks, and then synchronize that. And then once everything is synchronized, we're gonna color that. So I'm gonna color the actual clips on the timeline. I'm not adding a lots or coloring to it, but I'm actually coloring the clips. So what I use for coloring is tan, like it's a lighter brown color for the A cam and the audio. And for the screen recording, I use blue. So I just keep it simple. And for the B cam, I use green, like dark green. And so for music, sometimes I use magenta, and for sound effects, green. And every single stuff I add on the clips mostly is the After Effects dynamic link. Then that is red or whatever that color is, so the reddish color. And yeah, this makes sure that I see where everything is colored, what I am actually showing at that time, and sometimes also offline clips as well when I have animation on them. I don't have like that, I would say, extra effort that my PC has to render out. So, but that's a conversation for a different day. I would say it's kind of like a conversation when we try to make our PC more efficient. So we have all lined up. What we need to do is add some effects to the audio. So what I use personally to achieve a really good sound for the audio, I always worked with people who have like these Shure SM7B mics. These are like super, super good. And to get the best out of it, to make them, clear, to make them sound really good, I add parametric equalizer to it and then tube moduled compressor. And then I also have that in an assets timeline. So a different sequence basically for the assets or transitions that I use, or also for some sound effects, or also for basically the audio settings that I have. So I have them placed on there, so I can just copy and paste the assets and then just paste that on the voice. And it's like, you don't even have to set them up. They're just set up perfectly. And then I just look on the right side. It says like how much gain or how loud your microphone is. And I always look to make that -3 decibels. So that is, I think, the sweet spot. And then basically I just have the parametric equalizer and the tube model compressor set up correctly so it brings the best out of the voice. And just set it up and how you want to like it or how your client likes it. And then you just paste it on to an audio clip that you have in, or just a voice setting that you have in the assets sequence tab and you just place them on them, so you can just copy and paste it for every single project moving on. So you don't have to set up like all these effects again and again and again. It's just so easy to do. It takes like a little bit of time, it saves it, and then you have that in the templates file. It makes your workflow super fast. And now we have our clips on the timeline lined up. What we do now is we're gonna actually cut out the silences, but I'm not doing it the most old-fashioned way. What I have is Autopod. I have mentioned it on this channel already a couple of times, I think. And I use Autopod because it's an AI tool that cuts out all the silences or all the stuff that you don't want to have in the video. It does not cut out the mistakes that it makes, but it cuts out basically all the silences or all the stuff that is basically all the voice that is under a certain decibel that you can actually set in the plugin itself. It's super easy. I have set it to minus 34 decibels, and I just cut out basically all the silences, and then it does it all for you. It looks amazing when you look at it. It's like it's so insane. You think, oh wow, my job will be taken forever if you look at that, because it's like chopping up the timeline, removing all the silences, and it looks just mind-blowing. And I use it for every single project. And after the Autopod is done, I just go through it and I just focus on the pacing of the video. So basically just cut out all the mistakes, make sure that the pacing is good, that text basically is also flowing well. So if I want to rearrange some clips, then I do that as well. So it makes more sense, so it's more easy to understand. I do all that in the rough cut. So basically that's what we call a rough cut. But if you want to learn more about the rough cut specifically, I have a video for that on like a whole masterclass guide on how to rough cut the fastest way possible. I show you my hotkeys and all that stuff, because I have not the hotkeys in the SOP, but because I have them already set up, so I don't need them in the SOP. The SOP is only for the operating procedure, so you don't have to type in what buttons you use to edit the video, because you use a lot of buttons, so you would have to line them up, like just write them out, like all the buttons that you use, but you will never look at that because you already have that in your brain just by using it. It's like muscle memory at some point as well. So we just keep it super simple in the SOP, but also super detailed, okay? And rough cut the video in one pass. You want to go through and remove everything but the one final run through of what the client said in the video, and only use the best takes only. So once you have rough cutted the sequence, what I personally suggest to you have also written down in the SOP is create a backup. So just duplicate the sequence once you went through the whole video, rough cut it from start to finish. Then just also use hotkeys. Please just watch the video on rough cutting masterclass, how to rough cut the fastest way possible. This is the video where I showed my hotkeys, my template folder, all that stuff as well. So check that out after this video, after this podcast. And then, once we have rough cutted it, we come to editing. So I want to be super detailed with this point here, because I have I have some tips that I did not write out in the SOP that I want to give you guys. So it depends on the project, on how you edit. So if I'm editing a video and I'm editing a VSL, on the other hand, these are like just different things. So I take different steps, I add steps or I remove steps based on the project's needs. So you always want to make sure, if you're editing VSLs more than talking head videos, that you have also an SOP for these videos as well. If you're editing course modules, it's also like completely different from a talking head video. So most of the time at least. And so for VSLs, for example, I make sure to map out everything I want to add, like every animation, once I'm done with the rough cutting. So once I'm done with rough cutting, once I'm done with the pacing in one pass, basically just do pacing and rough cutting in one pass. And then once that is done, I go ahead and I take my adjustment layer on Premiere Pro and I just put them on top of the clip. And what this does is helps me to see where I want to add animations. So because for the animations, I use After Effects, and I just take an adjustment layer, right click, and then import project into After Effects, or import composition into After Effects, something like that. So it's dynamically links And I show that in one of my videos as well. Maybe it's the breakdown video. So what you want to do is when it's a difficult project and you want to, I don't recommend it for everyone. If it's a recurring project that you already know what to do, you can just start with the intro and just edit through the whole video without watching it through after the rough cut again. But for VSLs, for example, what I do is I go through the video again and I just lay out the adjustment layers and then just add a marker on that adjustment layer, and I just tell it like, here I want to have an animation that shows X and Y. So I want to be super clear on what I want to have. It's kind of like a creative brainstorming session, and you don't need to have everything mapped out, but at least you know like, okay, these are the animations that I want to add. Text animation here, showing B-roll here, showing animation here, and showing the price tag here. It's like all mapped out with adjustment layers and markers on the timeline. And this just helps me basically just focus on the process itself and not to be creative. And then I have to figure out what I want to put on the timeline, and I don't know what to do, so I have to skip it, or I'm just procrastinating. And it's just kind of like a procrastination killer, if that makes sense. If you have this workflow where you map out a difficult project where you need to have a lot of complex animations or want to brainstorm what clips to put in, it's makes it super easy. But I warn you also, there's a dark side to it, is when you watch the video through a lot of times, you tend to like be bored as well. So you tend to not pay attention to it. And if you made a mistake in the rough cutting, it happened to me at least, that I had things that was said again and again in the video. So when I was rewatching the video at the very end, which we'll come to in a second as well, when I was rewatching the video, we had stuff in the video in the first couple versions that was basically reset in the very next scene. So it was back to back, basically the same text like said aloud in the video. It was it was a stupid mistake because I got bored by reviewing the video so many times. So the best way is to get one pass in rough cut, and the best way is to get one pass in animations, and then watching it through again once you rendered out the video, and then just fixing all the stuff that you want to fix from there. So this is what I think the best way and the most efficient way is. But if you want to eliminate procrastination by figuring out what you want to add into the video first, so adding this creative brainstorming session into this workflow, it helps you to eliminate that issue with, I don't know what to put into the video. So you can have like, before you start animating, before you start the intro, before you start thinking about music or whatever it is, you can just have like, okay, I want to have all these things on a timeline. Here comes animation, here comes that. Just have all the ideas in your mind, like just turn on the creative mind, just go through it, and then you can turn on your mind and after that and just start focusing on how to actually make the animation possible, like going into After Effects, animating out what assets do I need, It's just so much easier when you have basically this map, okay? You have like a map on what you want to do, and you already know how much time it's going to take you as well when you have all these things mapped out. So you know, okay, this takes me a week to edit, or this takes me 2 days to edit. I have also some rules in the editing pass that I want to tell you guys about, because we also want to keep some rules, because if there is no rules in editing, then it will be chaos. It will be the Wild West, and we don't want to have that. We want to have it organized. We want to have clear rules that help us to achieve it in an efficient way and also the most highest quality way possible. So first is keep the edit simple and high quality. So by overcomplicating editing is works sometimes, but it's also one thing that makes or breaks your edits. So if you have animations that are super complex to understand, then it's like the viewer will not understand it and they will just click off because they're confused. So we want to have it simple most of the time, simple to understand. And if there is a way to showcase it simple but high quality, then we want to do that. We can also have some elements in the video and animations that complement what he's saying or the animation itself. That works. It just should be as simple to understand and also high quality as well. So you don't want to have a million colors in your editing if that does not align with the branding, okay, or with what he's saying in the video. So, and then second is use pen and paper to draw out complicated animation ideas, which makes it easier to put together in After Effects. So what I have used before is an iPad actually. So I've used this. I used the Notes app. Didn't buy any weird apps for that. Just used the Notes app and just basically just sketched out how the animation should look like. So all the circles, I added some arrows into it, and I just explained it like, okay, this is what it does, and then just an arrow that goes to the next scene. This is the transition. Once you have an idea, and it's just super easy to also think faster, like what assets do I need, what transitions do I want to add into it. It just makes it so much easier. It takes, of course, a couple of edits to get used to this, but it's so helpful. I tend to use this more and more, and I also tend to use this more and more on more and more projects for more and more edits, because it's just, as I said, easier to do. It just makes it super, like it just breaks. It's kind of like you have a complex thing in your head and just breaks it down to make it super easy to you to understand what is going on in your head in terms of animation, in terms of ideas. So I can just recommend it. I use pen and paper, for example. I have a pen and paper at home and just sketch it out. And you can also get some high quality notebook or paper that is super fun to write on. Then it makes you tend more to write on paper. Sounds super weird, but yeah, just get something that is like really fun for you to work with. So because it's like kind of like the same when you have a keyboard and it's causing you wrist pain, or a mouse that is causing you some pain. And what this does is it gives you some friction to work. It's like, oh man, I have to use that again. And it's like, diluting my focus. It's like diluting my productivity as well. So you get something that is fun to work with, because if it's fun, then you tend to produce better work. Kind of like that's what I noticed for myself. I got myself a mechanical keyboard, which has a super good, clean thunk noise that it gives when I click, and it sounds super weird, but it makes my workflow a bit more fun, if that makes sense. So I love to edit on that, and I love to edit on and also love to sketch out on my paper with my pen. So it just makes it super less friction on work on projects, or it makes procrastination, I would say, it just kills procrastination pretty much, which is a lot of people are suffering from procrastination. And then also create a template with the background in the effects in After Effects. So if you have any background in FX that you're reusing, create a template for that, and then you reuse it for that client. So this will make your process faster. And then use already downloaded icons or B-roll if possible to avoid too many extra steps. So if you have to always type in for the same icon, for the same B-roll, like search it up or type it into the browser, that already takes time. And even with my 1K download and upload internet at home, which is pretty funny, it's like I'm living in the middle of nowhere and we have like so fast internet. Even with that, it's just so easier if you have it already like downloaded and in the graphics folder. So you just pull it up and then just use that instead of downloading again and again and again. The time that it takes to edit a video would like just get reduced to a minimal basically when you add all these steps in. So this is not about spacing, like it's not about the storage and all the file sizes that you download the B-roll for the 10th time already. It's more like the speed and the efficiency that it gives you, that extra boost. It mitigates basically the time it takes you to edit the video when you do these steps. And I have also one last step, which will also lead into a bigger topic, which is source B-roll animations from here. And then there is the websites that I have written in the SOP. So where I actually download my assets from, where I find my assets for animations, where I find my music, and I have all that stuff basically just written out for animations. Because after editing Bass, we have the music and sound effects. But before that, we only have the visual side of editing, what we take care of. This is super important to not work on music and sound effects when you're working on talking head videos or VSLs or whatever. It sometimes works when you edit vlogs, I think. I did not edit too many vlogs, but I know this is the most efficient way possible to do the video is to first take care of the visuals and then add sound effects and music to those visuals to complement it. And then you can always go back to the visuals and just, edit that, if that makes sense, to according to the music that it wants you to fit the music, basically. So yeah, so the websites I use currently are Freepik. I can recommend it. However, I noticed an issue with Freepik, which is when I'm in Hungary, I'm right now in Romania, it works perfectly, it loads up instantly, but when I'm in Hungary, the website tends to load for a long time, and it's so annoying because if you just want to get an icon, then you need to wait like a minute so the website loads. So try it out for yourself, get Freepik for a whole month. I'm not sponsored by them, I think. I'm not sure when the podcast will come out and if I want to get a sponsorship with them, because I think they are the best website that I got to use yet for animations. I'm not even like kidding or whatever. The website has basically any footage, any B-roll that you need, and also any asset that you need for animations. So if you need a fence or whatever you need for an animation, or an icon or a vector file, they have like so many files. It's insane. You will find everything in every single style. If you need a cartoon, figures, whatever, they have it. It's literally on the website. You type it in, they pull it, like you filter it out, and you will find every single asset that you need for animations. And this is why I recommend Freepik. I use it a lot. And I'm not sure if this was just for a little time when I was in Hungary, or if it will be still like lagging most of the time when I'm in Hungary. But even then, the website is really good. Now we'll keep using Freepik, so I can just recommend it. Try it out for yourself. I will have it linked down below the website if I'm not forgetting it. But if not, it will be 100% in the Video Editing Elite community. Also, where I source stuff from is Google. So if I find some logos or images, even Freepik has some logos of websites. So like Meta or YouTube, they have all the icons or logos on the website as well in high quality. But if not, I can just find it on Google. And then B-rolls, I have a B-roll folder with all the B-roll, basically. And if not, I have a Google Drive with all the B-roll as well. So yeah, if I'm on the way and I have not the B-roll on me, then like, for example, if I'm not have this SSD on me or this bigger Lacy, we'll also have an episode about hard drives, what I can recommend to you, what is the best. And but if I don't have these things with me, then of course I have all the things backed up in the Google Drive cloud. So it is, just so much easier. It's like if you have like files are missing and all that stuff and you have to change something last minute. So yeah, you can either just fail by, not preparing enough for these times that will come, like for the future, or you can have prepared for this future by, watching this video and implementing all these things, like uploading stuff to the drive that you may need, that you have maybe just on the backup drives. But if you do all these things, then you're prepared if anything unexpected pops up, basically. So do these things, and let's make sure that nothing unexpected comes up that can destroy us or destroy a client work, a successful work, or hinder us to deliver the best work possible. Let's just make sure that we don't give it a chance. Okay, we cannot be perfect, whatever. I don't want to say that we can like perfect all the workflow, all that stuff. There's nothing perfect that exists, I think, besides God. So I think, but getting as bulletproof as possible is the way, I think. Okay, so yeah, and all these websites, by the way, that I use, like Artlist, which we'll cover in music and sound effects, which is what I use for music and sound effects, or whatever I need for that project, like Figma or whatever. It's a Figma website that I have all that stuff bookmarked on my browser. So it's super important that you can access it as fast as possible. And if you don't want to leave it open, then having it bookmarked is the best way possible. So yeah, once we have the editing pass done, like we have all the timeline filled out with animations, and everything is sorted out. We have also graphics folder in Premiere Pro. All the graphics that we use are in that folder, so it's not like all the files are hovering around in your project tab. Then you can take care of the music and sound effects. So also, by the way, in After Effects I have files folder, I have the composition folders, and I have the solid folders. So in the solid goes all the solids. I'm not sure what it is. I think the solid background, I guess. And for the files that I use for the animations, of course, and then for the compositions, either if it's pre-composition or a whole composition what you see on the video, then you have all that stuff in the compositions folder. So it's all clean, because if you add some new files, it's like harder to find them if you need them when you have like all the files laying around in the projects tab. So always be organized, always create some folders for that, and create these little, I would say, extra helps for you just to be more faster. Now, I'm someone who does not name my my timeline. Like, I don't name all the files that I have on After Effects. I should get into that habit because it's, I think, easier to find. But I'm like super lazy with it. I just type through my keyboard and I just have like as name for my background, for example, or for my compositions. So yeah. But I also recommend to you to do that if you want to do that. If you are going back and changing something, it's like easier to find. You don't have to click through millions of things. It can just save you like even just 10 minutes per project. It's already worth it, I think. And also sometimes I use clips from YouTube. I just want to add that. If you're using clips from YouTube, there is one tool that is the best way to download or convert stuff from YouTube into MP4 files, which is Cobalt.tools. I will have that stuff definitely linked in the community, and I will also have that in the description if I do not forget that. It's the best video downloaded for YouTube. I'm just gonna take that video, download it from Cobalt Tools, and just pull it into the graphics folder and then use it on my timeline. And if you're asking yourself like, how do I find the best clips? How do I find the best B-roll? I will have probably a whole like guide for that in the community. So I will definitely make sure to show you how to find the best clips on YouTube if you need for your video. What's the fastest way possible? What's the best way to search out for that? Because if you type in B-roll, you will not find any good B-roll. So this comes from personal failures, okay? And let's get into music and sound effects. So music and sound effects are super easy, actually. What I use as a website is Artlist. So Artlist is like not even $20 per month. I think it's less than $20 per month. And you get like music, sound effects, all the good stuff for your website, for your videos. And they even have LUTs now. They even have B-roll, like, stock footage. They even have like templates or even AI voiceovers or any plugins that you can do. They have even folders that you can place in sound effects that you find on the website. You can just favorite them or like add them to a whole folder. They have an AI that searches up music for you based on what you type in as well, like a whole folder structure full of music that fits the vibe that you're searching for, if it's cinematic or if it's vlog style, if it's corporate style, whatever it is. And it is such a good website. I used MusicBed before and I did not like MusicBed. They have, don't get me wrong, they have like the playlist is really good from other YouTubers, but it's like the navigation was so confusing to me, at least. And maybe it's just me, but I prefer Artlist because not only they have like sound effects, which MusicBed did not have, if I'm not mistaken, at that time at least. And it's also just the music, I just like them a lot more. It's just more fitting what I'm searching for. However, there is Epidemic Sounds. There is probably other websites as well, like Audio. What else? I'm not sure. There's a lot. There's a lot of websites. Just find something that you are that you like to work with, and then just make sure to bookmark it so you have instant access when you open it up. And then for my workflow here, I have added add music. Music should be changed at least every new chapter. So this is kind of like a rule. If I add music every chapter, I change it. I change it more in the intro if it fits. but I changed at least every chapter because this re-engages the viewer and knows something new is up. And if you can re-engage the viewer, they keep on watching longer. That's the goal with the videos that we produce. We want to keep them hooked, keep them engaged throughout the video, and make sure that they watch till the end. That's the goal, basically. And they understand what the concept of the video is about. So that is also one thing. We're going to also talk about how to think like a successful editor, like how to edit a video like a successful editor. This is the workflow, but also like a thinking on how to think about edits or animations. You will get access to that when you join the editing community like instantly, because as I said, I will have my videos breaking down, and I break down how I think, how the creative process and all that stuff. But if not, we'll have also like podcasts coming for that as well in the future. Make sure to write down your questions below so we can make a podcast about it and a whole episode about it. And we'll have also some guests coming as well in the near future. We have everything around what you need as an editor and beyond that as well. So this will be one of the most elite podcasts for editors. I kid you not. And so for example, you can also write down here what music you want to have in the intro, but I think this kind of depends on the project itself. I have, for example, hype music for the intro and then limitless music after the intro. So I have like a limitless music folder that fits that, let's say, focused vibe. But if that doesn't fit the vibe for your video, then it's like just write down there what vibe you want to achieve. If it's like changing with every video, then you might give more specific descriptions for that as well. And then add sound effects to re-engage viewer. So use both sound effects folder and artlist for sound effects. So I have, as I said, I have like multiple sound effects folders. I use 2 currently, and it is not probably the most efficient way to have 2 sound effects folders, but I also want to make sure that I have a sound effect folder inside of Premiere Pro if I want to add something fast. But I'll probably change up this template folder structure in the future probably. But until that, this is working really good for me. And so after we edit the sound effects, what we want to do is review the video. What you can do is essentially render the video out first. So you select the whole timeline with your hotkeys, whatever, and then you render out the whole video, and then you can watch that on your PC, like in full HD or 4K or whatever you render it out. I just recommend just for like full HD. That's perfect, I think, for reviews. And once you rendered it out, you rewatch it and you notice like all these little issues with the video sometimes, if there is any, and then you can just go back on the timeline, fix that, cut that out, cut that in, add that in. And once you got that done, I have also the export settings in my SOP, but I've also rendered preset setting in Premiere Pro already set up for the channel that we have. We have already like the settings for the presets for how we render the video, so we don't have to do that all the time. It's just you select that preset name, and then already set all the settings already applied to that video, and just export, boom. And for example, I export in H.264. I have match source high bitrate. I have frame size 4K, so UHD, and I render at maximum depth. I have that checked. I have use maximum render quality checked, and I have 2 settings as well, which is bitrate encoding is VBR 1 pass, and the target bitrate is 45 megabytes per second. And this is basically what I have rendered all the time. Yeah, like I use that all the time, and it's like the best quality that you can just get. It's like looking super clean, super crisp as well. Every time you export it, you review the video, you watch it through in full. If it's like a podcast, you don't have to watch it in full, but I'll at least make sure there's no offline media in it, because it can always happen, especially with the dynamic link with After Effects and Premiere Pro. I found that there's like a lot of problems that can just pop up with this. And in order to, mitigate these problems, what I want you to do is like always review the video before submitting it to the client, before uploading it to YouTube, like especially before uploading it to YouTube, but especially before uploading it for the client to review it. So then we have only 3 steps left, okay? So bear with me. the final 3 steps are put video in frame.io. So frame.io is the platform that I use so I can just share the video with clients. If you have Adobe and you did not crack it, then I used to do that. So when I started out, when I was a kid, I had like Vegas Pro. That's where I had made my Minecraft videos, and I cracked Vegas Pro and Photoshop and all that stuff. But now I'm paying, of course, for Premiere Pro, After Effects, all the Adobe Creative Cloud. It's like $30 a month. I think it's affordable. It's definitely good. I know how it is when you have like no money or credit card or whatever, or debit card to use. So I'm not judging or whatever. Pardon me if it sounds like that. I'm not judging. I've been there. But I'm just saying, if you have Adobe Creative Cloud, then you can use frame.io. So type in frame.io, log in. But if you have an Adobe subscription, you can essentially create a folder for all your clients or all the projects that you're working on, and then just basically upload the video that you rendered into frame.io. And then you can just get some feedback on the video. I think there is even a plugin for that, maybe to do that from Premiere Pro itself. I'm just using it the old-fashioned way: export a video, upload it to frame.io, and then basically the client can give some specific feedback to the timestamps. You don't have to upload it to Google Drive and then get feedback via WhatsApp or Slack. It's just so much easier. Basically, the workflow, you can have like the feedback to that specific timestamps, and they don't even have to have an account per se. They just have to put in the names and their email address, and they can just start right away. They don't have to log in or whatever if they don't want to. They can just easily you share the link, and they can add feedback to the video on the timeline, on the specific time frame. So yeah, basically super easy for your clients to communicate with you. Yeah, so I have put video in frame.io once I've reviewed the video, and then send link to the feedback channel. So when you have a feedback channel in Slack, or when you have your client on WhatsApp, whatever, send in a link to the frame.io video that you uploaded, and with the title of the YouTube video, or with the version of the video, just send them to it, and then it's like super easy to find it, basically, if you want to revisit it later on. And also update Notion video status to the specific, like when it's like up for review, when you have like a Notion status for that, then you can just change it to that. So it's like everyone can see it when they log into the content Notion page, that it is actually like up for review. So it's waiting for review. It's basically done. Maybe it needs some just smaller changes, or maybe we just have to go back to editing. So yeah, then when there is some content changes, then you change the Notion page back to editing, and then you work on the video. And once the content directors leave feedback, or the client, whatever, make the adjustments to optimize the video, re-export it, review it again, like rewatch it, and then redo step 10, which is put the video into frame, send the video to the client as well. And then once the video is good to go, everything is fire, good to upload, then upload it into YouTube Studio. Like if you have access to YouTube Studio, I don't know if you have, or to Google Drive, whatever it is. Of course, fill in your steps. This file will be accessible to everyone in the community. You can download it. You will have all the files. You can just change it up as you want, add steps, remove steps, or change up the name of steps, or adjust it to your needs, basically. So you can just fall back onto the system, and even just take 1 or 2 hours of this time just to make sure to have that ready, like to have that bulletproof. And it will definitely elevate your workflow by a lot. And upload the video and editing title, and also turn on the monetization to the video, and set it to private or unlisted. Update Slack and Notion with the video, and add the steps that you need to take from there, like adding titles, or adding a thumbnail, adding description, whatever it is that your clients want to do. You like offer as much as possible as an editor, but it definitely depends on the client as well. But definitely make sure to add that into SOP when you have more steps. But yeah, this is basically the whole step that the whole SOP. This is just 12 steps to do. And of course, make sure when you have new steps that you add onto your workflow, that you add them into here. So for example, I have this mistake that I did not add the A and B testing thumbnail stuff into it, but it's also one thing that has an own SOP as well. So what we do now is test the thumbnails with the TubeBuddy tool, because I think the YouTube thumbnail testing is not really working that good. So what we do is use TubeBuddy for that. And for that, I have its own Notion page for the SOP and tracking it or whatever it is. Or I have a own doc file for that. But I have also an own Notion page for tracking the thumbnail testing as well. And maybe that's something for the elite community, for something for the future. And I just want to close down today's episode, and I hope you liked it. I wish I had started sooner, so we have the beautiful view behind us for a bit longer, rather than just having this dark background now. And yeah, let me know what you think about this process. Did I miss something out? Do you have any questions? Is there anything you're unsure about? And also your thoughts on what you think, what a perfect workflow looks like, or what a best and most efficient workflow looks like, or what your workflow looks like if you have any. So I'm super excited about that. And with this podcast, as I said, the goal is to teach you as much as possible in the most detailed way as possible. And this is the way to go. It is the best way that I found to teach people about editing is by taking a topic like workflow, or taking a topic like hard drives, and then just talking everything about the positives and the negatives, so they can decide, okay, for example, for the hard drive, do I want to have this hard drive? Do I want to have a different one? Why does this make sense for me? Why does this not make any sense for me? So we will have definitely another episode about hard drives, because I've spent like thousands of dollars on hard drives already just last year, and there is a lot that I learned from that. And if I had to do it again, I would do it maybe a little bit differently. So I want you to join the Video Editing Elite, because this is literally the best program, and I stand with this program by my name. So if it's bad, then it's gonna hurt my reputation, okay? This is why I also offer a full refund guarantee as well. So for the first month, so you can literally just come in, like get all the knowledge soaked into you, and you can just leave the next month if it does not help you to elevate your editing or elevate your success further after the second month. So you can literally just come in, like hop on a call, and then just get all the stuff figured out. You can literally just watch through the modules, and you can get all the resources, download it, and you can just leave the next month, which is only just paid for $49. So it is literally a no-brainer at this point. I just wanted to make this super no-brainer for the first 20 members and or the first couple members. So if you join today at $49 after watching this podcast, this will be your price forever. It will not basically increase the price for you when I have to increase the price, because I don't want to have too many people in. I want to have 100 editors, but I don't want to price myself too low as well. This is literally just for the founding members, for the very first few of you who want to, start earning, like who actually want to improve the editing, who want to succeed at editing, and finally build up your dream life. This is literally the program that's going to make it happen for you. And again, thank you for joining this episode today. If you learned something new, let me know in the comments down below all your thoughts. I'm super eager to see what you think about this content. If it helps you, what we should do in order to make it even more helpful or more impactful. And you should definitely push that like button if you learned something new, and also make sure to subscribe to this channel, because a lot of more free value is coming to this very channel. And this is only possible because you guys are liking and subscribing and commenting down below. It does not cost you anything if you want to support this channel and support also other editors to improve the editing. Just send it off to them. If you know a friend who is not good in editing or has a messy workflow, who has not the workflow at all, then send this video to him and make sure to tell him that he should also subscribe to the channel as well. Right, so this was the very first episode of the Video Editing Elite. So yeah, stay tuned for the next episode. And with that being said, God bless you, and we will see us next time.